In a world where power, ambition, and wisdom often dictate the tides of change, both in our modern society and in the realms of fantasy, there exist tales that transcend time and space. Today, dreamers, we journey into the heart of Morrowind to uncover the saga of the Tribunal, Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec, three beings who ascended to godhood. Their story not just a tale of mythical proportions, but a mirror reflecting our own world's struggles with power, leadership, and morality. From the bustling streets of our world to the mystical lands of Morrowind, the hunger for power and the pursuit of something greater than oneself are timeless. Our story now takes us back to an era where three ambitious individuals stood at a crossroads of destiny. Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec, names that would become synonymous with divinity, but whose beginnings were as mortal as any in Tamriel. Almalexia, a warrior with unmatched prowess, Sotha Sil, the thinker, ever curious and brilliant, and Vivec, whose words would weave the fabric of reality itself. Their journey to godhood began alongside Indoril Nerevar, a leader whose valor and wisdom united the Chimer, the ancestors of the Dunmer. It was at the Battle of Red Mountain, a conflict etched into the records of history, where their fates were irrevocably altered. Here, amidst the clash of steel and sorcery, the heart of Lorkhan, a remnant of a dead god, beckoned with the promise of ultimate power. In a moment that would forever change the course of their lives and that of all Dunmer, they tapped into the heart's divine essence. Through actions shrouded in controversy and mystery, they ascended from mortal to divine, from followers to leaders, from servants to sovereigns. But who were these beings who would walk the path of gods? What drove them, and what secrets did they harbor? In our next chapter, we delve into the lives of Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec, each a unique prism reflecting the multifaceted nature of power, wisdom, and the burdens of godhood. Each member of the tribunal is as complex and enigmatic as the realms they govern. Their stories are not just of divinity, but of the very human struggles and triumphs that shaped their reign. Almalexia, often revered as Mother Morrowind, was a figure of compassion and strength. Her devotion to her people was as fierce as her prowess in battle. Yet, with the passing of time and waning of her powers, she faced an internal struggle that saw her descend into paranoia and fear. Almalexia's tale is a somber reminder of how the fear of losing power and influence can warp even the most steadfast and nurturing soul. As she once said, "I do this for the people of Morrowind. I do this because I must." This encapsulates her initial desire to serve and protect, which tragically twisted into a struggle to hold on to her fading divinity. Next is Sotha Sil, the least understood of the tribunal, a master of mysticism and the arcane. His creation, the Clockwork City, was a marvel of magical engineering. Sotha Sil was a thinker, always seeking knowledge and understanding, yet his reclusiveness led to a disconnect with the very people he sought to enlighten. In his own words, "We are, all of us, bound by chains forged in the fires of our passions." Sotha Sil's story is one of brilliance shadowed by isolation, reminding us that wisdom, when detached from the world it seeks to improve, can lead to unforeseen consequences and loneliness. Last, we have Vivec, perhaps the most mysterious of the trio, a warrior poet. His writings and teachings have become central to Dunmer culture. Vivec was both beloved and feared, a deity of duality in every sense. He was a protector of his people, Yet his methods and the ambiguity of his nature often raised questions about his intentions. Vivec's own words capture his essence. We are a set of divine contradictions, joined by shared ambition. His story is one of balance, the constant juggling act between strength and wisdom, might and enlightenment. As we reflect on the complex tapestry of the Tribunal's individual journeys, it becomes clear how their divine and all too human natures shaped the society they ruled over. Each, in their way, left an enduring mark on the Dunmer, marks that would define the culture, politics, and faith of Morrowind for eras to come. As we delve deeper into the individual journeys of Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec, we begin to understand the profound impact these deities had on Dunmer society. Their ascension to godhood was not merely a shift in power, but a transformation that would define the very fabric of Morrowind's culture, politics, and spiritual life. Under Almalexia's guidance, the Dunmer found a nurturing yet formidable protector. Her maternal image was revered, and her compassionate decrees shaped the social structures of Morrowind. Temples dedicated to her healing prowess dotted the landscape, symbolizing her role as the caretaker of her people. However, as her stability waned, so too did the trust in her benevolence, leaving a society grappling with the duality of worship and fear. Almalexia's own words, "I watch, I wonder, I build, I tear down," reflect her dynamic influence on Dunmer society. Sotha Sil's pursuit of knowledge and invention trickled down to Dunmer society in more subtle ways. His fascination with the mechanical and the magical inspired a wave of innovation and curiosity. The Clockwork City, his greatest creation, became a symbol of the mysteries and wonders that knowledge could unveil. Yet his reclusive nature meant his direct influence was more mythical than tangible. A distant deity of wisdom whose inventions were as ambiguous as his persona. Vivec's influence was perhaps the most visible. His warrior poet persona was deeply ingrained in the cultural identity of the Dunmer. From poetry and philosophy to the art of war, Vivec's teachings permeated every aspect of their lives. His duality was celebrated, seen as the perfect balance between might and intellect, a model for every Dunmer to aspire to. The city that bore his name was not just a center of worship, but a testament to his enduring legacy within Dunmer society. As we reflect upon the immense influence of the Tribunal, it becomes evident how their decline would inevitably lead to a seismic shift in Morrowind. The erosion of their power was not just the fading of gods, but the unraveling of the very threads they had woven into Dunmer society. In our next segment, we explore this critical juncture, the waning of divine strength and its cascading effects on the land they once ruled with such unique and varied approaches. This period marked not just the decline of three deities, but also a fundamental shift in the spiritual and temporal landscape of Morrowind. The seeds of the Tribunal's downfall were sown long before their powers began to wane. The very source of their divinity, the heart of Lorkhan, became their Achilles heel. With the events of the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, we witnessed the Nerevarine fulfill the prophecy, severing the Tribunal's connection to the heart. This act didn't just signify the loss of their immortality, it symbolized the shattering of an age-old order. As her divine essence faded, Almalexia faced the mortality she had long transcended. Her fall was heartbreaking. Once a mother and protector, her fear of losing power drove her to madness. In her own tragic words, "I am all alone. I am lost in my own empty halls." Her demise was a potent reminder of the fragility that lies beneath the facade of power. Sotha Sil, ever the enigmatic figure, retreated further into his clockwork city. His creations, once marvels of innovation, became his silent companions in solitude. The loss of his divine power only deepened his detachment until his untimely death, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery. Vivec's reaction to their diminishing power was as poetic as his nature. Rather than despair, he embraced his fate with a cryptic acceptance. His city, once a symbol of his strength, faced destruction during the Red Year, and Vivec himself vanished into legend. His parting words resonate with ambiguity. We are a state of being that has become aware of itself. We are a place of becoming. We are a phase. As the tribunal's power eroded, so too did the world they had shaped. This period of upheaval set the stage for a new era in Dunmer history, an era marked by uncertainty, but also by the opportunity for change and growth. We arrive at a crucial juncture, the contemplation of their legacy and the varied endings that define their enduring influence on Morrowind and beyond. With the fading of the Tribunal's godhood, Morrowind entered an era of profound transformation. The once divine trio left behind a complex legacy, a tapestry interwoven with heroism, wisdom, and the shadows of their missteps. The temples and statues dedicated to them, once symbols of unwavering devotion, now stand as monuments to a bygone era of divine rule, a time when gods walked among mortals. Almalexia, the mother of Morrowind, is remembered with a bittersweet reverence. Her descent into madness and her final acts of violence are as much a part of her story as her compassionate rule. As she once said, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is only action and consequence. Her tale is a powerful testament to the complexity of power and the peril of losing oneself to fear and desperation. Sotha Sil's enigmatic end in the Clockwork City left many questions unanswered. The mysteries he created outlasted him, continuing to inspire awe and wonder. He is a figure shrouded in the enigma, an embodiment of the pursuit of knowledge and its inevitable solitude. Vivec's legacy is perhaps the most vivid among the three. His disappearance left a void, but his teachings, his poetry, and his philosophies continue to influence Dunmer culture. Vivec's dual nature, both god and mortal, warrior and poet, remains a central tenet of Dunmer identity. As we reflect on the stories of Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec, we see not just the rise and fall of gods, but a mirror reflecting our own struggles with power, identity, and morality. The Tribunal's story is complex, layered with lessons that resonate beyond the boundaries of Morrowind. As we draw the curtain on the epic saga of the Tribunal, we find ourselves not at an end, but at a beginning, a point where history meets our own stories, where the lessons from a world of fantasy offer wisdom for our reality. The rise and fall of Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec teach us profound lessons about power and its responsibilities. Their journey reminds me that wielding influence in any capacity carries with it a heavy burden. It's about balancing ambition with empathy, authority with compassion. As Almalexia's story showed, power without humility can lead to a tragic downfall. It's a cautionary tale that in our pursuits, be they personal, professional, or societal, we must always be mindful of the shadows our actions cast. The Tribunal's story is one of change and complexity. It reminds me to embrace the multifaceted nature of our own identities. Like Vivec, we all carry within us a multitude of roles and contradictions. Acknowledging and accepting this complexity is vital. It teaches us to be more understanding and accepting of others, recognizing that everyone has layers and depths yet to be explored. Sotha Sil's pursuit of knowledge and his eventual solitude resonate with me deeply. It's a reminder that in our quest for understanding and innovation, we must not lose touch with the world around us. Knowledge and wisdom are most powerful when shared and used for the sake of the whole. In a world brimming with information, staying connected to the human experience with empathy and compassion is essential. Their story also underscores the power of unity and resilience. Faced with the erosion of their divinity, the Tribunal and the people of Morrowind had to adapt and find strength in new realities. It's a powerful lesson that in times of a changing world order, be it in our personal lives or on a global scale, standing together, supporting each other is where true strength lies. As I reflect on these lessons, I find them not just relevant but necessary. The Tribunal story, with all its grandeur and tragedy, echoes in our daily lives. We may not be gods, but we are all architects of our destinies, shaping our paths with our choices, beliefs, and actions. So, dreamers, as we part ways with the Tribunal, let's carry their stories with us, not just as tales of a distant world, but as lessons that guide us, inspire us, and remind us of our shared humanity. Until our next journey into the Elder Scrolls, may your paths be guided by wisdom, your choices lead to growth, and your lives be enriched with understanding and compassion.